Well, first thing, what is a calorie? And most people will not be able to answer that. They just go on pretending that they know all about how the body works and it's all about calories in, calories out. And then you ask them, well, what is a calories? And they're like, oh, well, I never thought about that. So a calorie is a unit of heat energy. And a unit of heat energy, it's a photon. And we know that the photon has zero rest mass. So how can you modify your body mass by intaking or expanding something that has zero mass? Like, by definition, you cannot modify your body mass like that. Second thing, they go on with the first law of thermodynamics, and they say that because calories cannot be created or destructed, it must be energy cannot be created or destructed, it must be conserved. So therefore, if you eat more than you expend, you're gonna gain fat or weight, and if you expend more than you eat, then you're gonna lose fat or weight. The problem is that this law applies to a closed system, and the human body, it's an open system, because we constantly, if you think about it, when you eat food, that's mass. You eat mass, and then when you go to the bathroom, you lose mass. Or as simple as when you breathe in, you intake oxygen, which you can measure. It has a weight of mass. It's a type of mass, and then you exhale carbon dioxide, and that's mass. So you constantly are exchanging mass between your body and the environment. So the body is not a closed system; it's an open system. So you cannot, by definition, apply the first law of thermodynamics to your body. Another thing is that going back to the heat energy. So how do you measure calories? Because people think that when you buy food and you eat food, that food contains calories. But the way that you measure calories, pretty much you put a piece of food in a bomb calorimeter, which is a sealed chamber, which is filled with oxygen, surrounded by water. And what they do is that they incinerate the food until it's ash, and then they measure the heat energy necessary to bring the temperature of 1 gram of water up to 1 degree Celsius, and that's pretty much how they calculate the supposed calories in that food. But that food creates this heat energy, these calories, only when it's incinerated. And when it's ash, the chemical bonds inside that piece of food, inside the matrix of that food, they don't exist anymore. So your body cannot make energy from a chemical bond that it's not existent. That's not how the body works. The body doesn't burn the food. It extracts chemical energy from the chemical bonds inside the macronutrients, which are protein, fat, and carbohydrates. So tell me, how can you apply calories? To get the calories, you have to burn the food first, and your body doesn't burn the food. That just doesn't work. It's nonsense. Carbohydrates and proteins have 4 calories for 1 gram. Yes. So you're telling me that carbohydrates and proteins in the body go through the same pathway to create energy, but you can't compare them, because we know that, yeah, we can use carbohydrates for energy, of course, but proteins have more of a structural function, to make up enzymes, hormones, muscle tissue, any other tissue, and they have a lot of functions which are not energy. So it doesn't make any sense to say that you can eat the same amount of calories from protein and from carbs, and you're going to have the same exact outcome. Because even if we're like in a starvation, or we're not taking enough fat as fuel in a low carbohydrate diet, we're still going to use 10 to 20% of the protein to make energy, and then we're probably going to have serious health consequences. Like, there's something that is called the rabbit starvation that was going on when people were only eating rabbits, which are very lean. If the body can't produce enough energy, you will die. So it doesn't make any sense to compare carbohydrates and protein as source of 4 calories, 1 gram for 4 calories. It doesn't make any sense.
Correct, does not. Brilliant, love it. So it seems like it's getting through. Did you learn that, by the way, in your bachelor's degree of exercise physiology?
No, I didn't learn anything. Actually, when I was trying to bulk up, I was doing a ton of researches in other like fitness websites where they give you the nutrition course that you can learn stuff. And I learned to eat low fat, avoid saturated fats, seed oils are heart healthy, and I should eat 60 to 70% of my calories from carbohydrates. That's what I learned, and that's what I was doing, and it wasn't working. And even though I was eating less and less and less calories, I wasn't losing weight. Can you tell me why? I thought there was something wrong with me.